So we're all excited for Dick Grayson to stop playing spy games and return to the streets of Gotham and Bloodhaven as Nightwing. During DC's Rebirth on July 13th, Nightwing Rebirth Issue number 1 will be released and Dick will be back in blue. So here's a quick and simple origin of the Boy Wonder himself, Dick Grayson. This is the Road to Nightwing. Blam! So Robin the Boy Wonder Dick Grayson was born into the circus life. He was part of a family of acrobats, trapeze artists, and they were known as the Flying Graysons. Now the Graysons were a part of a traveling circus called Haley Circus, and one night they made a stop in Gotham City. At that point, the ringmaster was threatened by Tony Zuko and Edward Skeeves for some extortion money, which the ringmaster refused. Later that night, the Flying Graysons performed for the last time, as the trapeze and tightrope were sabotaged and snapped while Dick's parents were mid-flight and plunged to their deaths. During the nights when Bruce was on patrol as Batman, Dick would actually sneak out and try to solve, the truth about his parents' death. One night, Dick actually got in trouble and the Dark Knight had to save him, and at that point he brought him back to the Batcave and Bruce revealed his identity to Dick. And then he made an offer that Dick could not refuse, and that was to be his sidekick, and thus Robin was born. The dynamic duo of Batman and Robin continued to solve the case of Robin's parents' death. Afterwards, Robin continued to fight by his side, and he was naturally more carefree than his spooky partner Batman. It was not until Robin Year 1 when he had a run-in with Two-Face, and he was challenged to save a tied-up Batman or a tied-up judge. Robin tried to save the judge first and then Batman after, but in doing so, the judge ended up drowning to death. And Robin was also almost beaten to death. The duo did escape and Robin did survive, but he was seriously injured and that put him out of commission for a bunch of weeks or so. Later on, we see Dick use the Screamer Sticks, aka Arnice or Callie, for the first time. If you want to check out the full story, it's called Robin Year 1 and it's written by Chuck Dixon. So a little bit after Robin Year 1, Robin decides to leave Batman to work with other sidekicks who feel that they aren't being treated as partners and they wish to be seen in an equal light as their mentors. And you can guess that this obviously leads to them forming the Teen Titans. He returns to assist Batman with the Joker, and this leads to him getting shot in the shoulder. And this sparks a big clash between the two of them, between Batman and Robin. And then Dick decides to finally quit the Robin moniker and leave the Bat's shadow. For a while, he was thinking about quitting crime fighting for, forever. He turns to Superman, who tells him about a old Kryptonian story which inspires Dick to take on the moniker Nightwing. Nightwing and Starfire had an on-again and off-again relationship, and it's arguably the most fruitful, I guess you'd say. It started, when he was still Robin and he was in the Titans, along with Starfire. Batgirl is obviously the contender for Dick's love, but it was with Starfire that he almost got married with. During the wedding ceremony, a demon-possessed, a Trigun-possessed Raven actually crashed the party, and the two never, ventured down that road again. They just said, okay, you know what? Maybe it's not meant to be. So then they just went their own separate ways. Nightwing did take up the mantle of Batman for a couple times. The first time was when Batman's back was broken by Bane, and the second time was after, towards the end of the Battle for the Cowl event, and afterwards that. So Dick as Batman teamed up with Damian Wayne as Robin, and it was up until the New 52 reboot that they were fighting together. They were the new dynamic duo, which leads to the New 52 continuity. New 52 Dick, he does return to be Nightwing, but this time he has red and black duds instead of the classic black and blue. At the end of the Forever Evil event, his secret identity was exposed, and so with the help and adamant orders of Batman, he faked his own death to infiltrate a spy organization called Spiral, which began the comic series Grayson, as his main mission is to dismantle the spy ring from the inside. Looking at his New 52 relationships, Dick had a thing with Starfire, but it never really flourished, and he has yet to have something with Batgirl. Lastly, I'm just going to go over how Dick is able to come back to the world as Nightwing, since they already know who Nightwing is, right? So I'm just going to mark up the video with a spoiler icon right here. If you haven't read Grayson issue number 20, then just skip ahead. I guess lower the volume, and then when the icon is gone, I'll be done talking about what happens in Grayson. You've been warned. I'm going to go into spoiler mode in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so in the last issue of Grayson, Dick offers his body to Dr. Daedalus to control. But for him to operate in the world, he needs to erase everyone's memory of Dick Grayson, his face, who he is, and all that good stuff, or else you can't, using Dick Grayson's face and body, because then everyone will know, hey, you're Nightwing. Once that was completed and everyone's memory of Dick Grayson was erased, Dick Grayson fought back for control of his body, and the two, Dr. Daedalus and Dick Grayson, had a battle within Grayson's mind. Once he defeated Daedalus, it is mentioned by Helena Bertinelli that there was a safe list, a list of a select few who would still remember who Dick Grayson is, and this includes the Bat family, so this is basically how he's able to return as Nightwing. Now that the Grayson series is finally at its end, on July 13th, he will return as Nightwing, flying his true colors black and blue. So I hope you guys liked my summarized version of Nightwing's history. If there are any aspects about Nightwing's life that I missed or that you want me to dive into, let me know in the comments section down below. This is part of my Road to Nightwing series, so stay tuned for more Nightwing videos up until the release of Nightwing Rebirth Issue number 1, coming out July 13th. For more things geeky, keep it locked, keep it tuned right here on asleeplessVision. Until next time, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching. Blam!
Character Jubilee. Now, as a kid growing up watching X-Men, the animated series, she was always one of my favorites. I'm excited to see her playing a bigger role in this movie than compared to the old trilogy. So what I'm wearing is a yellow off-shoulder dress, a pair of heart-shaped glasses,